We're delighted that you tuned in, and our hope is that you truly be blessed by sharing this time with us. Later, Dr. Brown will talk about sad distortions, but first, open your heart as my husband shares a remarkable adventure in God we both recently experienced, called The Key.
While waiting for the cashier at a grocery store, have you ever switched over to the seemingly shorter line, then only to watch helplessly as your original place passed through the checkout while you wait and wait and wait for a fossilized clerk who is living in slow motion? This, of course, always seems to occur when you are the most pressed to make an appointment, like wading through molasses with your ankles tied together. My darling wife Lynn and I, during a trip to Barbados to help a family adopt a baby from Florida, had one of those tyranny of time experiences. After a late arrival on a flight from Miami, in an attempt to make up time, we changed line twice at the customs in Barbados, only to be delayed by an overly efficient and officious official. But worse, we then waited far past the point of patience to the very edge of desperation for our luggage. Everyone else had come to the baggage carousel, picked up their suitcases, and left, while we waited until it seemed like there was no one else left in the entire airport. Then both of our bags suddenly fell plunk down the chute onto the conveyor belt. For no apparent reason, the absolute last pieces to be offloaded from the plane. The plan was that we were to be picked up by this adopting family. And of course, we wanted to make a professional and favorable first impression. I was worrying as now we had greatly delayed them, making them wait in the hot Caribbean sun at the airport with no air conditioning. In a manner of speaking, no matter how hurrier I became, the further behind I had become. Our adoption mission was successful, and the family was wonderful, not to mention being entirely understanding about our tardiness. But now, the real story begins, after returning to Miami on our flight that had arrived earlier than scheduled. First, Lynn and I sailed right through immigration, after being directed by a kind immigration official, past rows of impatient lines of shuffling visitors, to an official at the end of the room, with no one at his kiosk. He only smiled at us, stamped our passports, and we raced through to the baggage carousel, arriving before anyone else from our plane. Only 90 seconds later, can you believe it? 90 seconds later, the very first two pieces of luggage to flap out of the chute were ours. I exclaimed, "There is a God, thank you." So we scooped up our suitcases, roared through customs as there was no one else even in line. And we were even on time for the hotel shuttle to return us to our trusty Jeddah. Never had we ever experienced such a quick exit from an airport, from any airport, and not to mention from an international flight after 9/11. Always in a hurry, we were rushing to visit an adoptive family near Key West who had just been blessed with an adoptive baby. But they had left a message on our cell phone that their plans had just been changed, so they were unable to meet with us. And that was very distressing, as we had arranged our flight schedule and planned our entire weekend to facilitate this meeting. As Lynn, my dear wife, took off the messages from our answering machine, the next item was from a couple who really wanted to begin their adoption by commencing the home study process. As I threaded through the madness of Miami's wild and crazy traffic to the turnpike and then started to head north home, Lynn telephoned this couple as it was only 8:30 p.m. They lived in, ready for this, Key West, and wanted us to visit them the next day. So I turned the car around to head south. If we had even had the normal delays at the airport, it would have been too late for us to phone them, and we would have been unable to visit them for weeks due to the distance and the Christmas season. God is so good. Well, Lynn has a gift for shopping, and the only thing she